Please read this disclaimer carefully before proceeding further. Welcome traders to analysis of indices. My name is Vic. Thanks for joining me here. We'll start with Nasdaq here because that has been overextended, and if you consider the biggest move since the corona hit the markets, then the biggest extension on the markets has been on Nasdaq. So let's start with that one, and then we'll go on to SnP500, Dow Jones, and maybe a few others there. So what we have right now on Nasdaq on monthly time frame, on weekly time frame, is that market has started to show a sign that it wants to go down. On what I envisage, we can see that the market has started to show an indication that it wants to go down. The month has already is already over, and this is near about the target where it can go to. However, because this is weekly time frame, that does not mean that it will just simply go and fall to that place. I mean, that is also a possibility, but the chances are that it will go it will go a little bit higher, and then it will start to go back down to this level. So right now our bias on Nasdaq is bearish on the higher time frame, but what we need to do is look at the lower time frames first as well. On lower time frames, what we can see that market has come below this water curve, and that means that there can be more bearish opportunities coming, right? And this is the approximate profit target that we can look for, near about 12,416, but it may take few days to few weeks, and that is also the support the structure level here that is being indicated by what I envisage here in the white dot. So that's what we have on daily time frame. Now what we expect is that if the market goes back up, then we can make use of that opportunity, and this upward move can go all the way upwards to 14,000 as well. So you have to be careful with that, because you see, when the market actually came very close to 14,000, it actually never reached there. It came very close to it. So let me show you what I mean is that this is the 14,000 level. It came very close to it and started to fall down. So this is what I call as initial reaction. Market usually does that to create traps. So at this moment in time, this could be bear trap. So if the market starts to go upwards, then it can go all the way into this FCP zone where we have 14,000 level, and then we can have a divergence based setup, and then the market may start to fall down. Now I'll give you a revision why I think this year is going to be bearish for most of the US indices, at least. I've been sharing it on various social media channels. Here on LinkedIn I shared as well, and this is the reason. You see, if we go to the yearly candle, which nobody usually looks at, if you go to the yearly candle, let me actually show you right here. If I go to the 12-month time frame, what do you see? What's happening right now? And this is expected because of this candle. When this sort of candle happens, usually the next candle is bearish. So if it is if it is a yearly candle, then 2021 is expected to be a very small candle or a bearish candle going near about 11,000, 12,000 level, something like that. So that's quite a possibility. And even in an extended mode, it can fall down to 10,000 or 9,600 level as well this year, simply because of this candlestick pattern, nothing else, right? And I will show you exactly the same thing which is going to happen on SnP500. This is kind of like an extended hammer candle. I know a lot of people will say this is not even a hammer and all that, but you do not go by the names, you go by the behavior. Usually after this candle you get something like a spindle and then fall down, or the next candle itself is bearish candle going near about 50% of the previous body. So that is what we can expect in 2021. That is one of the scenarios. If you go to Dow Jones, that also shows exactly the same thing. Now this looks like a proper hammer candle, and that means the market has more potential to go down this year. So that's why the bearish bias is coming in. And if I go to the Nasdaq, you see this is already leading into that kind of candle. So if I go to the monthly time frame, what has happened? The previous month was a simple doji candle, but bearish from the top. There was already bearish scenario here, and if you remember my previous analysis, I was expecting it to be bearish month as well. Now right now we have created what people call it double rejection or tweezer or whatnot, right? But the main thing is that both of these candles are showing rejection from the top. That means the market is expected to fall down to near about this moving average, which is 11,637 right now. But because this is moving average, it can change. So looking at bearish scenario on, Nasdaq. However, there can be a bullish scenario for a couple of days or maybe weeks or something, and it may go back up and create a divergence and then start to fall down. So we cannot just deny that there cannot be a bullish. As a trader, it's our responsibility to analyze both bullish and bearish sides of it, so that we are prepared and we can capitalize on trade opportunities on both sides. Doesn't matter what your bias is. My bias is saying that it wants to go down, but if I find a bullish opportunity, I'll take it, right? I may not go for extended profit targets, but I will still take it. So that's what it is. Now if I go to the daily time frame, this is looking like a very good level where the market can fall to. This is like 12,344, but because we have formed a kind of M pattern here, and which has already completed. If you're not aware what I'm talking about, then let me show you this. So there is an M pattern here, and that's why the market went up, right? And now we could be actually forming another M pattern which is right in this zone, so that's why the market can go back up. Now this may or may not lead to going to places 14,000, but there is a possibility. Market usually creates traps like this. So what I will do, my plan will be, okay, if it starts to go up and if I get a confirmation, I'll go up, but I will not target 14,000. I will take it in steps. I will say, okay, fine, let me first target this sort of level because that's the midpoint of this W pattern, and once this is broken, then I'll target this level because that's mid of the Bollinger Band, and if that is broken, then I'll target this wall because that's where the W started, and if that is broken, then I'll look for this level which is 14,000, and then I will look for only short positions. Why? Because the Vata and Visage is already giving me a good indication that market wants to fall down, right? On weekly time frame, this is bearish, and if I go to the monthly time frame, it is about to get bearish. As soon as this Vata starts to change the color, then this is going to turn into a bearish market. So that's what we are looking at. Let's go back and look at the analysis. So this is what we have. Remember this analysis that we posted, that I posted few weeks ago, and this is still valid. It's just that market never came to 14,000. It came very close and started to fall down, and that is why I'm saying that there is a good possibility that it can go back up. If I look at the 4-hour time frame, this is the W pattern that I'm talking about, and this is the FCP zone. Okay, so this is the FCP. Oops, sorry. Let's go back. So this is the FCP zone that we can target. So what do we have now? This is what we can do. This is the M pattern that formed, and that's why the market is going up. And once we have a good confirmation from here to go long, I will go long into this level, which is 13,278, and if that is broken, then look at this. This is 200 moving. There is a lot of cluster here, what a moving cluster. So I will target only this much, not beyond that, because that's the midpoint of this W pattern as well. Once that is broken, then I will go for FCP zone, and once that is broken, then only I will go for 14,000, and after that I will only look for short positions. Okay, so that is my plan. But at each of these levels, if you find good opportunity to go short, you can do that, right? As long as this is intact, this level is intact around 12,672, which is the low, the last low, then we can go for short and long positions. But if this is broken, then we are looking for just short positions. So where do we go only short? You go only for short once the market has reached this FCP zone at the top, 14,000, and or once it has broken through this level of 12,666, 12,606. So that's what my plan is. Do your own research, and again, read the disclaimer, because I'm not providing any advice. It's just my analysis for you to consider, but it is not an advice in any manner. Okay, so this is what we have on Nasdaq, and let's look at S&P 500 now. On S&P 500, the market came to FCP zone and started to fall down. But even before that, let me show you what we have on monthly time frame. On monthly time frame, we are again facing a huge rejection from the top. That means the market is expected to form a bearish candle next month. However, there can be a small bullish candle at the top, or maybe the market may go back up a little bit and then start to fall a bearish candle. Let's see how it actually opens tonight, because that will set the tone for the whole month. And let's see the weekly candle. Right now it is sitting on this moving average, which means that it is supporting there, and that means the market can go back up. Let's look at it on Vata and Visage and see what is going on there. So S&P 500. Okay, on S&P 500, what we have is that market has started to go down, and what a trend color has changed from blue to red. That means the market is turning bearish. However, we do not have the color change on water wave. That means we are still in bullish mode. As soon as it changes the color, then we are looking for bearish opportunities. Like, bearish opportunities will be then we'll have, like, better chances of success. Let's go to the daily time frame. The market has fallen below the water curve, which means that it used to act as support. It tried again here. Now it may go back up a little bit, but after that it is expected to fall, and the level that we are looking for is near about this. Right, ultimately it is expected to fall down to near about 3,600 or so, right? But that may or may not, like, happen almost immediately, and that also confluences with the previous structure here. So that is what we have on S&P 500. Let's on daily time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On 4-hour time frame, market may go back up to retest this water curve, because water curve also acts as, like, dynamic support and resistance. However, it is bearish. It has already started to show that the market is bearish. It has been bullish for a long period of time. Now this is turning into bearish. This was the signal, and right now it hasn't reached its profit target, which is going to be expected to reach near about this level of 3,776, and I'm expecting this to form an M pattern as well, and that's why the market may go back up. So very good opportunities coming on S&P 500 here. Let's look at US30, which is Dow Jones. So US30 is, like, kind of shadow of, like, S&P 500. So let's bring in our original analysis. So it came to right into 31840. Actually it touched a 3200 level and started to fall down, and usually the market goes back up to retest these sort of levels. So the market may go back up to 3,200 or even a little bit higher before it falls down, and it is being supported by this moving average right here. So if you're looking for a long opportunity, you can go for a long, but be aware that pretty much like Nasdaq, you not go for extended profit targets, like go in steps, like always try to follow the steps, like which levels which are important to you. Right now this is, like, at the mid of the Bollinger Band. That means it can, like, form a day of bearishness, or maybe, like, go upward into this 31128 level and then start to fall back down. This is kind of like a gray area for now, because we need to see a little bit more movement before we can start to form any kind of, like, opinion on US30. But whatever is going to happen on S&P 500 is going to be kind of reflected on US30 as well, or vice versa. Let's look at it on Vata and Visage. How is it looking on weekly time frame first? So let's look at US30. On US30, what we have is that the market had a bullish signal here, which we can ignore because the water trend is showing that it wants to go down. So if it is red, then we are going to skip, like, the bullish signal. We are only looking for short signals, but water wave color has not changed again, and as soon as it changes, then we are looking for a short opportunities primarily, and this is going to be profit target, which is 29,287, and that will probably confluence with the previous structures here as well, and that looks very good opportunity if we start to get this right. And if we draw Fibonacci from this to this level, then this is near about 50% of the previous move, which confluences with the water profit target. So that's what we have on weekly. Let's look at on daily time frame. On daily time frame, this is already showing me a good downward signal here. Everything is red here, red and red signal here. That means there are better chances of shorting, but you see it is right at the water curve, which can act as support, so it can actually go back up a little bit. However, this profit target has already been met, 30,921. that water profit target has already been reached. So how can we play this? As I said, like, this is little gray area. Now this has already reached the profit target of 4 hour. This was the signal, and this is the signal for this one. Now it can go back up. If it does, then we can go for a long opportunity. However, do not think that the market is going to go create an all-time highs, like multi-year highs again. I mean, it can for small period of time, but I will be very skeptical if it keeps on going higher. I think it is going to fall even after it creates a all-time high a little bit higher. But we are going to go for a long trade if we find an opportunity, but we will be biased more towards short side. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so that's US 30. Let's look at UK 100 as well, which is British index. So if I go to the monthly time frame, what we have is a rejection from the top, pretty much like what we saw on other indices. But something tells me that the British index is actually going to perform better than US indices, because because of the market structure here. I mean, if SnP500 and Nasdaq start to fall down, then that will also impact a British index, and as well as other indices across the world. But I mean, it may absorb that impact a little bit more. That's what I'm suggesting. So it may not fall that much, in comparison to US indices. And the reason behind that is because it has already been it has already been kind of resilient. It fell down, but it has been finding its own range, and it has been creating these nice W and M patterns. And you see, this is an M pattern which can push the price back up into this level or so. So if I draw Fibonacci from here to here, what we can do is we can draw Fibonacci and use our FCP technique to see where the market can fall to. So I'm expecting market to fall to near about this level. If it starts to continue to fall, and then this can be a good level where it can go to. And if it starts to go back up, then we are looking for something like this sort of level here. So near about this and this level here. So these are going to be my primary targets for UK 100. This is a good FCP zone that we have got here. So something like this. You're already there, but it can go a little bit deeper into this zone. So we'll see how the market actually starts, how market actually opens. Let's look at it on what and research. So if I bring in UK 100 and go to the weekly time frame, now what we have here is that the market is red, and this is already showing red. Now the previous W pattern has completed its profit target here, right there. It reached its profit target, and now the market is showing bearishness again, and there is already a signal present here. So it can fall down into this 5,991, but even before that, the water curve, do not forget the water curve, that can act as support and resistance. So it can fall to 6,260. So that's what we have on weekly time frame. If I go to the daily time frame, this is also falling, and as I said, it could actually fall into this level of 6,436, because that is also near about the same thing as this, near about this. Okay, so that's where the market can fall into, and that's an open water profit target right now. So I'm expecting it to fall a little bit and then go back up. Ultimately it is expected to come here anyway. And if I go to the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have already reached the profit target of this short signal which came on Friday, and this is the profit target that we saw on the daily, that is also confluencing with 4-hour target here. So it's all looking very good. So I'm expecting market to fall a little bit below, and then I'll be looking for a long, and then I'll be looking for a short again on UK 100. So this is our analysis on indices. We were able to cover Nasdaq, US30, SnP500 and FTSE 100, and I've already posted the analysis on DXY, so do not forget to check it out. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, then make sure you hit the like button and put in a comment, because that is going to help the YouTube algorithm to present this video, this analysis, to a lot more traders like yourself, and they'll also be able to benefit from it. And your support is always going to motivate us to come up with better videos, better analysis, and keep it all for free every week. So thank you, thanks for all your support, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're interested in learning how to analyze the markets the way I do using Fibonacci Confluence, then head over to wikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see Core Strategy Training Program. On this page you'll be able to see the testimonials of previous students and also look at the brochure. The brochure has a lot more information including the course structure and the Fibonacci Confluence Training Program curriculum. This is a very extensive program in which we cover basic core Fibonacci concepts along with the advanced concepts to analyze the markets with high probability. If you're interested in joining this program, come to wikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see and submit this form.